There's a lot of people, a lot of brains, a lot of talent that comes wrapped in different skin, that comes wrapped in different sexualities, that comes wrapped in different ages. Do you want to be competitive for all the talent or just the talent that you're most closely aligned with?
Joining me today to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, specifically making progress, improving performance, and increasing productivity, is Dr. James Pogue, CEO of JP Enterprises. Can you start by telling us why the work that you're doing is so important right now?
You know, I think that there's an argument for right now started a long time ago, right? But that because of current events or recent events, it's been highlighted in a much more significant way. I mean, we had the unfortunate opportunity, in huge quotations, to all be at home because of what was happening with pandemic-related issues, to see and hear and feel and touch what was happening relative to social justice considerations. And so regardless as to whether someone is on the left side, the right side, the top side, the bottom side of it, you are paying attention to it. And so that began to drive people's attention towards what these issues might be. And for those of us that happen to be in the business space, and that's where we spend a lot of our time trying to build and organize our companies to grow and be successful, it positioned us to say, how is this going to behave when I get back to the office? And now some of us have been back to the office for a while, and there's some clunkiness that is happening around resignations, around economy, and so on and so forth. So there's an argument for some of these social justice or diversity-related considerations have begun to just take a second seat, a third seat, a fifth seat, an eighth seat. So in my work, I really just want to re-highlight what was already there and remind people that as you're regrowing your companies, as you're rehiring people, how should you be thinking about your inclusion efforts moving forward?
And how do you get people to open up about their DEI journey and overcome some of the existing barriers and challenges?
The reality is that most people want to open up about it. They just have not been provided a reasonable opportunity to do so. My job is not to yell at you or to scream at you. My job is to say, what do you want to be? And how do you want to get there, and how fast do you want to get there? Do you want to be competitive? And with whom do you want to be competitive? There's a lot of people, a lot of brains, a lot of talent that comes wrapped in different skin, that comes wrapped in different sexualities, that comes wrapped in different ages. Do you want to be competitive for all the talent or just the talent that you're most closely aligned with? So you want to be successful, you want to be competitive, here's an option to help you get there.
And of course, the question I bet you get asked all the time, how can people get started in their organization?
I always encourage people, you should do an assessment first. And the unfortunate reality is some time ago, there weren't assessments out there. We've developed one, we call it our inclusive leadership assessment. And it's designed to take a look at leaders or at teams or at organizations. And then those folks can, as a result of that, you can say, this is where I am. And then get strategic recommendations on where you want to go or how to get to where you want to go. And then with help, because no one should expect you to be an expert, you can be guided along this path. The second piece I would add to that is after the assessment is that you have to execute on those strategic recommendations. And those strategic recommendations are not short term. They must be long term. It took us a long time to get to where we are. It's going to take us some time to turn this big old cruise ship around. And so when I challenge leaders to execute for the long haul, to lead in this space without having to have expertise in it, and to have a leader-led way of identifying where your growth is and what success is going to look like.
And I know you talk about a leader-led approach. Can you discuss a little bit more about what that means and why it's important?
So leader-led approach is you, the person in the mirror, is the leader. And you are responsible for raising your hand or standing in front and saying, we're going to go north. And this is what north means. We do it with every other initiative that's out there. You want a new piece of technology? This is what you do. You want a new marketing approach? This is what you do. You want a new HR program? This is what you do. So we have to treat this inclusion business with the same dignity and respect as we do other areas of professionalism. When we do that, we have no choice as a leader but to lead it. And you need not be an expert in diversity or inclusion or bias to lead in it. Many of us are not experts in technology, but we lead the new initiative. Many of us are not experts in finance, but we lead that new initiative. So we can make this happen. Leaders can make this happen. We just have to lean into it in a significant way.
Now, talking about the REIT industry specifically, you were a judge of Nareit's DEI Award this year. What insights did you gain from looking at the various applications?
Sure, let me give you two pieces. One, there's the individual awards and the organizational awards. One, there's a lot of good work that's happening. There's a lot of passion behind the work that's happening, and there are a lot of people that are supporting that work. But here's where I would ask people to push forward, that we are where we are, and you're allowed to be there. But there is a next step for all of us. All of us are on our diversity journey, including myself. And so when I took a look at the awards they came through, what I had the opportunity to see is that people are really in that first third or second third of where they want to be on their diversity journey. Right? And so the applications were written with a sense of optimism, a sense of what's next, a sense of where we're going, right? So I'm looking forward to next year's applications, seeing where people have gone based upon sort of the backs of what has happened this year. So in much of the work, there's a opportunity to grow. We talk about this being the difference between investigating and experimenting. If you're investigating, you're thinking about it, you want to do more, you could do more, you should do more, but you haven't quite closed the loop just yet, right? But on the experimenting side, you're doing the hard work of closing the loop. There is risk that's involved, there are challenges that are involved, and every now and again you're going to say the wrong thing or the awkward thing or the strange thing, and that's okay. We all deserve grace and forgiveness when these things happen, but you're out there, right? And so I'm looking forward to seeing, as we move forward in this space, that more people are out there. As my mom says to me all the time, there's a group of sled dogs, and the lead sled dog has a different view on the world than all the rest of the sled dogs. And so I'm encouraging this organization and the leaders in these organizations to be the lead sled dog, to feel the wind in your face, and every now and again you're going to get whacked in the face with a piece of ice. And that's how it goes. Because leadership is optional. The yoke of leadership is heavy, but leadership is optional. And you raised your hand and said you wanted to do it. You raised your hand and said, I want to be competitive for these awards. What does that really mean? So get out there, do the risky thing, do it with good advice and counsel, and then apply for the award. We'll see you on a piece of paper around the corner.